If you're an Apple user, you'll never use Google again. This notion might have seemed plausible if Apple and Google hadn't turned their rivalry into an unexpected friendship, causing quite a stir. Even a recent ad campaign drew attention to their newfound camaraderie, prompting speculation about what lies beneath the surface. Interestingly, the inspiration for this campaign traces back to Apple's iconic Mac versus PC campaign that began in 2002.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC.
Suggesting a remarkable turnaround in their relationship. It's understandable if you're feeling puzzled, so let's unravel this mystery by exploring the background of their friendship and what's currently unfolding. Is their bond truly as strong as it appears?
The deal, a brief history. Alright, let's kick off this video with some seriously juicy news that might just widen your eyes more than ever before. Did you know that Google is still shelling out a whopping $8 to $12 billion annually to Apple just to secure its position as the default search engine on Safari? And let me tell you folks, that's no small change. While the exact terms of this deal remain shrouded in secrecy, rumors suggest it comes with a hefty price tag. Now let's rewind the tape a bit. Picture this: Apple's CEO, Eric Schmidt, and Google's CEO were once incredibly close, collaborating closely. But then, out of the blue, Google dropped a bombshell by launching Android, shaking the tech world to its core. Suddenly, Google wasn't just a friend. It became a direct rival to Apple's beloved iOS. Needless to say, that sparked some serious drama. So, what unfolded next? Well, let me tell you, my friends, there was tension in the air. Eventually, Eric Schmidt bid farewell to Apple, resigning from the board of directors. In 2013, Apple decided to experiment with Bing as Siri's default search engine. Yes, you heard that correctly. Bing, not Google. Now, fast forward to 2017, and Google made a comeback into the spotlight. Quite intriguing, isn't it? Thanks to some behind-the-scenes negotiations among the top executives of Google and Apple, Google reclaimed its position as the default search engine. The objective? To ensure that Google Search remains front and center on all Apple devices. Now, that's what I call a power move. The dependency. But that's not all. We need to delve into the reality of the bond between Apple and Google. You see, Google isn't just any run-of-the-mill search engine. It's the titan, the undisputed ruler of the tech industry, reigning supreme over the search engine kingdom. No other search engine even comes close to Google's dominance. So naturally, when it comes to Apple, they've got to have Google as their default search engine. Opting for Bing as a default engine would mean compromising on user satisfaction, which Apple couldn't afford. And as a bonus, Google was footing the bill. Not a bad deal, right? But here's the deal. Google still shells out a hefty sum to Apple each year. Not out of sheer generosity, but to ensure their position as the default search engine on Safari. So yes, they have some skin in the game. Consider this. Apple boasts a staggering 1.65 billion devices in operation worldwide. That's an enormous user base. If Google weren't the default search engine on these devices, it would deal a significant blow to their bottom line. Losing that prime spot would mean fewer eyeballs on their ads, and as we all know, ads translate to substantial revenue for Google. So, how does Google tackle this dilemma? They resort to the age-old solution, throwing money at it. Reportedly, they shell out an astonishing $7 billion to Apple each year just to maintain their position as the default search engine on iOS devices. But here's where it gets really interesting. Google pulls in a staggering $25 billion in ad revenue from searches conducted on iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Yes, you read that correctly. $25 billion. That's more than triple what they pay Apple. It's like having an ATM that never runs out of cash. But wait, there's more. According to the Department of Justice, Apple isn't exactly coming out empty-handed in this arrangement. They're also pocketing a handsome 20% of their annual profit revenue thanks to this partnership with Google, a prime example of a mutually beneficial relationship. What's the bottom line here? It's a win-win scenario for both Apple and Google. Apple keeps its users satisfied by providing them with access to the premier search engine, while Google rakes in the profits from all those lucrative ad clicks. Google antitrust allegations. There's another twist in the tale that's causing quite a stir. You want the scoop, right? Well, here's the lowdown. The issue has ballooned into a major problem, with the US government suing Google on antitrust grounds. It all boils down to a lawsuit filed by the Department of Justice, or DOJ, which has come down hard on Google. The DOJ alleges that Google's dominance in the search engine realm has allowed it to solidify its position and influence, potentially stifling competition from other search engines like Yahoo and Bing. This, in turn, could pave the way for Google to become a monopoly, a situation that often leads to exploitation of the system. For years, Google has been cultivating a close relationship with Apple, dishing out billions of dollars to ensure that Google remains the default search engine on Safari and other search platforms on Apple's mobile devices. With roughly 90% of searches in the US funneled through Google, it wields a significant amount of power in the market. But the scrutiny doesn't stop there. The DOJ has leveled a slew of accusations against Google,
alleging that it has leveraged its dominance in other areas, such as online advertising. According to the DOJ, Google has used its clout to edge out competitors and rake in hefty profits from the myriad of ads plastered across the internet.
Now, let's cut straight to the chase and hear it from the horse's mouth. Google isn't taking these accusations lying down. They're hitting back with full force. Google is staunchly refuting these claims, dismissing them as baseless, and arguing that they won't benefit consumers in any way. According to Google, Bing and Yahoo also pay to secure Prime placement on Safari's main page, but no one seems to be questioning them about it. They're standing their ground, asserting that they haven't coerced anyone into using their services. There are plenty of search engines available, and people opt for Google because they prefer it. Google is pulling out all the stops to defend itself. They're contending that this lawsuit could create more problems than it solves, potentially harming consumers by promoting inferior search alternatives and driving up the costs of phones. Furthermore, there's the concern that people may find it harder to access their preferred search services. Google is stressing that they've established agreements with phone carriers and manufacturers to feature their services on Android devices. These arrangements not only help keep phone prices affordable, but also ensure that competitors can have a presence in the market. But where does that leave us? It's a bit of a sticky situation, to say the least. On one hand, you have the DOJ accusing Google of violating regulations. On the other hand, Google asserts its innocence and readiness to counter with concrete evidence. It's a high-stakes battle that could have far-reaching implications. With such a large-scale deal under scrutiny, the potential consequences are significant, so buckle up for what could be a major event. The consequences. The potential repercussions of this issue are indeed significant. Just envision if Apple severs ties with Google due to this legal dispute. If Google's search engine vanishes from the 1.65 billion Apple devices, it would pose a major problem. While the exact financial terms of this deal remain undisclosed, the Department of Justice estimates its value to be between $8 to $12 billion, a substantial sum. There were rumors circulating that Apple might attempt to fill the gap by launching its own web-based search engine. After all, if any company could rival Google, it's Apple. However, Apple wasn't particularly enthusiastic about this prospect. Losing Google as a partner would entail forfeiting a substantial revenue stream. Now, let's talk about how this could play out and what it means for Apple's reputation. Firstly, let's explore the potential upsides. Apple's intervention could signify a positive turn of events. Imagine Apple emerging as a champion of fair competition. If they're seen as advocating for a level playing field in the tech industry, it could significantly bolster their reputation as a company that prioritizes fairness. And who doesn't appreciate a company that prioritizes its customers? If Apple positions this as a move to protect consumer privacy and data, it could garner significant support from individuals concerned about their digital rights. Moreover, we shouldn't overlook corporate responsibility. By taking a stand against alleged antitrust violations, Apple is demonstrating its commitment to keeping the tech industry in check. However, as with any situation, there's another side to consider. Let's examine a potential scenario: guilt by association. If Google faces repercussions during the trial, Apple might suffer collateral damage. Suddenly, questions arise about Apple's own practices, particularly its relationship with Google on their platforms. Additionally, the public is adept at detecting hidden agendas. If Apple's motives for participating in the trial seem dubious, it could provoke a significant backlash. Nobody appreciates feeling manipulated, especially by corporate entities. And let's not forget the legal quagmire. Apple could face heightened scrutiny of its App Store policies, pricing, and more. It's like diving into a mess of legal troubles and additional drama between tech giants, and as spectators, we can only anticipate the outcome with bated breath. So, what's your take on this? Will Apple get involved in this trial? As we wrap up, it's undeniable that the partnership between Apple and Google, solidified by a multi-billion-dollar deal, holds immense influence over the digital landscape we navigate daily. Google's hefty payments secure its prime position as Safari's default search engine, a critical element for both companies. However, amidst antitrust allegations, these tech giants are under scrutiny from the government, with their close relationship reaching a critical juncture. The repercussions could reverberate throughout the digital realm, but it's too early to make definitive statements. What are your thoughts on the future of this expansive alliance? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the comparison between the fake and original Apple Vision Pro to determine if the genuine product justifies its hefty price tag. Until the next exciting video, take care.